Here's a thing that I learned recently that I hope is covered in this video.
Okay.
Beach worms.
What is a beach worm?
Exactly. What is a beach worm?
Beach worms. Beach worms. What is a beach worm?
That's pretty good.
It sounded like an internet historian intro.
I really like the fact that we keep pulling up these really, really weird animal fact vids.
Yeah.
'Cause we've done so many fact vids in the past. You've seen our channel, Casual Geographic. Internet has a lot of animal facts. So Frank has got some of the creepiest animal facts. He's a pervert. But, Lindsay Nikole is still a very strict niche of animal fact vids.
I really enjoy like her delivery.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the facts that she gives.
Yeah, absolutely. So the What the Fuck Is That series that she shoots, that we've done a couple vids from here and there, are very strictly some of the creepiest content she does.
Yeah.
So make sure you buckle up. We'll see y'all in the vid.
Why are we doing a video about worms? Worms are just worms.
Exactly.
Well, the internet is filled with videos of people finding strange specimens and asking, what the fuck is this? And a good chunk of the time, it's some kind of worm. There are surprisingly a lot of worms. I'm going to show you some of the more shocking of these mystery creatures that have gained lots of attention recently. So get ready to turn into a niche worm expert.
I'm ready.
Before we get into it, let's just get a general understanding of how many worms there are. Worms are everywhere. They are some of the smallest and the largest animals on the planet. They live in every habitat imaginable, from deep-sea hydrothermal vents to the insides of animals as parasites, including us. And worms have evolved separately multiple times.
Okay.
I mean, not all worms are the same kind of worm at all. Let me put that into perspective using a cladogram.
Okay.
Sorry, what's this thing called again? She brings it up every time.
Cladogram.
Cladogram. She put that in text so we could read it as well.
Which is a general understanding of how big groups of animal called phyla are related to each other. Well, at least this one is in this case. As technology advances, some revisions are being made to this, so just keep that in mind. But, for example, based on these little branches, these two groups are more closely related to each other than these two groups are. Every single animal with a backbone, including you, fish, birds, reptiles, mammals, other mammals, are in this group, Chordata. All vertebrates are here, plus a couple of other invertebrates, like sea squirts. The rest of these groups are invertebrates, animals that don't have a backbone. There are a lot of invertebrates, and at least 8 of the groups on this list are worms.
Oh my God.
That's a lot of different kinds of worms. One might say too many. There have been about 60,000 species of vertebrates identified and 67,000 species of worms identified.
That is like at least 30,000 more species than I assumed existed of worms.
Okay.
At least.
All right, now we're ready to jump into our first worm. That's a polychaete, also known as a bristle worm. It's a type of segmented worm that is named for the bristles going all the way down its body. There are thousands of species, and a lot of them look really similar, so I have no idea what species this is. So let me just show you some of the cooler ones. The largest bristle worms are the bobbit worms, named after Lorena Bobbitt, who in 1993 cut off her husband's thing with a kitchen knife.
Yeah, she did.
So everything about worms is just skeevy and weird. Like from the names to the looks, the cool ones, the creepy ones, there's nothing good about any of them.
Yeah.
Bobbit worm is named such because of their razor-sharp mouth parts that are capable of slicing a fish clean in half. Here's their hunting strategy. They bury most of their body, which can get to 10 feet long, in the sediment, in this long tunnel, leaving really only their mouth parts exposed.
It's like
They have antennae that, when brushed against, tell the bobbit worm to snap and snatch their prey.
That is dope.
It's like the thing.
You've been doing that since she's been talking the whole time. You better come up with a name.
The thing.
From what? From where?
Effect.
Okay.
The thresher maw.
Ah, the big worm.
Yeah, the thresher maw.
Also the thing from, whatchamacallit? Darksiders.
Yeah, also like that.
Yeah.
Not all bristle worms are that intense. In fact, some of them kind of just hang out. There are even ones called the Christmas tree
That's
worms
cool.
that look more like plants than animals. They just hang out. Some also hang out in the most extreme environments on the planet, like the Pompeii worm that lives right at the edge of deep-sea hydrothermal vents, which can get to like over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. They have this coat of bacteria all over them that help protect them from the heat, and they hang out as well. As humans, we're tempted to believe that our way of reproducing and then going from a mini-human to a large human is the natural norm of the world, of the animal kingdom. But it is absolutely not. And bristle worms alone have several different examples to show you that that's not the case. Different life cycles, life histories. So here's 2 of them. Epitoki. This one is crazy, dude. They clone themselves through asexual reproduction. They'll have little clones just budding off their tail end. And then once they're ready to go, they just pop up and start doing their thing. But the most
grows an entire other part of itself, and then it just goes, boop, I'm ready to live alone
What
now.
the hell?
That's craziness.
Mind-blowing bristle worm life cycle, in my opinion, is the green spoon worm, which looks very much not like a bristle worm, but it technically is. When they're born, they're not male or female yet. They're just tiny little sexless specks floating through the ocean, and where they land determines what they will be. If they land on a clear patch of sediment, they become a female. They'll grow to maybe 10 centimeters long and also grow a proboscis, a little stringy looking thing. And the proboscis will start pumping out pheromones. Pumping to lure in the other larval specks that have not found their fate yet. They get pulled into the female. And if they land on her, their fate becomes stamped as a male. The males are teeny. They don't really grow at all. The female will eat him, and then he will live inside her uterus for the rest of his life. Free food and shelter for a life purpose of providing the female sperm whenever she wants it. Goddamn feminist agenda.
That is insanity. What the fuck? Like, bro, Republicans would just burst on the inside if that's how feminists really wanted it to be. They'd be like, here's the uterine room. Like, what do you do here? You crawl in there, you play Xbox, and you make babies.
Exactly.
Can you please not play with your toys right now? I'm sorry. I'm filming. You can play with your toys in the living room. Say hi.
Hi.
Just real quick. Just say hi.
He said no.
Quick hello, please.
Hi, buddy.
All right, let's roll the next one.
I hate this one. I hate it.
I don't like
Pretty
it.
Get it
gnarly.
off
That
of you.
is a ribbon worm, also known as a
I do not like
proboscis
those.
worm. As you might guess, the thing that just shot out of it is the proboscis. The word comes up in a few different ways throughout the animal kingdom, so let's just lay them all out. A proboscis invertebrates, animals with a backbone, is any elongated nose or snout, like the proboscis monkey or an elephant or tapir. A proboscis.
So that's what that guy had on his head.
Shut up.
A proboscis.
I knew.
That's what it was.
Could not be trusted.
It was a proboscis.
You leave that man alone.
I thought it was a forehead lump. It's a proboscis.
If you haven't already, go check out our Daily Dose of Internet video.
And see his what?
You leave that man and his forehead.
Proboscis.
You leave his forehead characteristic alone.
I feel like if you squeeze it, I bet you that comes out.
I was going to drink my drink. Never mind.
Proboscis in invertebrates, animals without a backbone, is a tubular mouth part for sucking or feeding, like on a butterfly or a mosquito. In either case, it's an elongated appendage coming out of the animal's face. And in the ribbon worm's case, the proboscis is used to defend itself and also to attack and feast. Some have spiky barbs on their proboscis to stab. Some have branched appendages filled with toxins to toxify or intoxicate or poison. And some have sticky suckers to hold onto their prey. But unfortunately, in any video that you've seen circulating, the ribbon worm definitely using it to defend itself. Because
you surviving in there? Are you living? Okay.
Because it feels like it's under attack. They contract their body and then spit out their proboscis. Like, get the fuck away from me! So because of this, because they contract their body so easily, we don't know exactly how big they can get. Their muscles that they use to expand and contract their body are insane. Fucking jacked up. And they allow them to shrink to 1/10 of their original size. And you best believe humans make them feel uncomfortable as fuck. So how can we possibly know how big they can get? They're like elastic linguines. Scientists do think they might be the longest animals on the planet. Keyword think, because they are too stretchy to actually measure. The largest species, the bootlace worm, has been measured at almost 100 feet long. But it's thought that they could potentially get to almost 200 feet long. The only other animals that come close to that are a siphonophore that was found at 150 feet
that's a bunch of little
long.
mini worms, right?
And of course, the blue whale that can get to 110 feet long and is the heaviest animal on the planet. A worm the length of 2 blue whales is an unpleasant thought for me, to be honest. They also have some regenerative capabilities, meaning they can regrow parts of their body if necessary. But the regenerative abilities of this next worm shocked a lot of people this year.
Is that his head? Wait. What the fuck is this?
That's a hammerhead worm. Hammerhead worms are invasive, toxic, cannibalistic, and potentially immortal. Before we jump into that statement, I want to talk a little bit about the larger group that hammerhead worms belong to. The planarians, a type of flatworm. These might look familiar to you. There's a chance to learn about them in any biology class you might have taken. Planarians as a group are really interesting because of those regenerative abilities, and they just get sliced and diced all the time for a 9th grade biology class. Planarians typically live in freshwater habitats and are typically really small, up to about a half an inch long. The hammerhead worm is an exception to both of those things. The hammerhead worm lives on land and can get to over a foot long. They're originally from Southeast Asia but now have a worldwide distribution. They've been in the United States since the 1900s, and they are considered an invasive species. An invasive species is
so we can murder them free of charge.
Yes.
Well, that's good to know that something on this list at least can be slaughtered.
But you have to be careful when you murder them because they are regenerative.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to like burn them.
Don't fuck around in our house. It's not a place to play.
That gets introduced to an area it's not native to and ends up harming that environment in some way. So not all non-native species are invasive. It's ones that are able to adapt quickly to an environment and reproduce a lot. So their population just blows up and they end up altering that environment in a negative way. And in many different parts of the world, the hammerhead worm is considered invasive because it preys on earthworms and snails and slugs that are beneficial to those ecosystems. They also don't have any natural predators, which makes their invasion even easier. Hammerhead worms secrete this toxic slime that keeps potential predators from eating them and also helps to take down their prey. And then they liquefy them and then they drink them up like a smoothie. Sad fate for earthworms everywhere. Also, sidebar, you know that thick ring around an earthworm? That's their reproductive structure. Do you know what it's called? The clitellum. That bugs me. Whoever named it that deserves jail time. Lindsay, that's not a very professional and scientific thing to say about a scientific... I don't care. I don't like it. To add to the uncrushable power of hammerhead worms, they will also eat each other in the absence of other prey, or even parts of themselves. They will eat parts of themselves because they do not care. They will just regrow it. Who gives a fuck? Because like I had mentioned, all planarians have that amazing regenerative ability.
Just stop.
I didn't say...
Just stop it.
I said nothing.
Stop. If you were a schizophrenic, you'd be the worst kind. What? You would be the worst kind.
What?
Just completely unruly. They're like, why do you have a straitjacket? Yeah, why do I have a straitjacket, Jacqueline? Making me look out to be the bad guy.
Stem cells all over their body that allow them to regrow anything the worm needs. So you can't really just smush it or cut it because you might end up with more worms.
That's so funny.
If you cut one hammerhead worm into 10 pieces, you will have 10 hammerhead worms. Some people have suggested, well, what about fire? I mean, yeah, fire would kill you. But definitely not the best option in this scenario since an uncontrolled burn would do a lot more damage than it.
Why are you assuming it's uncontrolled?
Right.
You capture it?
And then you throw it into the fire pit.
You toss it in. Do you guys not have a fire pit readily available? Our house is like Minecraft. just capture some Vegas lava, set it in our living room, and try not to step in it.
Honestly, we could probably just leave them outside.
I mean, in Vegas is probably not the best place for worms. If they need any kind of moisture at all, they just die.
And would land you some pretty big payments to the government. So the best option is salt and vinegar or citrus oil. And just make sure it dissolves all the way. Also, don't touch it with your bare hands because of that toxic
you
stuff.
got it.
Might give you a little irritation. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe.
We do like this video. We will like and subscribe.
Salt and vinegar is the best flavor of potato chips.
And apparently the best thing to spit on your worms if you don't want them around. The things that you learn here on this channel, the delivery system by mouth.
You can't spit on them without their consent. They might not be into that.
It's a worm. It can't give consent.
What about their safe word? I think you did really well. I think you handled the grossness better than I did.
She didn't sit in it for that long.
Yeah.
But she flashed gross images while she gave good facts.
Right.
And it's just like, I know the images come after she shoots the vid. I see that it's blank. But I look at her in her eyes and go, why are you not talking about it?
Why would you do this?
Acknowledge the thing you just put up there for us to see. You know? If you like this video, please make sure you check out our other Lindsay Nikole videos, like the one where I shoot on my wife's channel. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.